What's up, everybody? Good to see you, Inner Circle family. And I know we have some guests here we invited as well today. I'm just in a really good space today, and I'm so glad to be with my Inner Circle family. If you've been with us for years, some of you have been with us for 6 years, month after month. Good to have you back, your family. Some of you, maybe this is the first time being a part of our monthly live Inner Circle. Either way, glad to have you here today. Listen, I understand how precious time is, and there's a million things you could be doing right now with this time. But you're here with me, and I don't take it lightly. So we're going to have a good time today. I want to be interactive and probably pick on some of you and do some cool stuff. I'm in a really relaxed mode today. I didn't want to do over-structured, over-organized. I wanted to go with my heart. I wanted to go with what I was feeling today that I thought would be great, especially in light of that we are like less than 2 weeks, or no, like little more than 2 weeks away from our World Summit. And I'm so excited. Who's joining us at the World Summit? So good to have you guys. It's going to be an unbelievable event. Tony and I have been obsessing over it. He's fired up. I'm fired up. We got some great guests coming. It's going to be an amazing 3 days of immersion. Let me ask you today, who's here today that is either in the information industry, knowledge industry, digital product, or on their way in or intrigued about the knowledge industry, selling what you know? Okay, who's not in that business? Raise your hand and put it in the chat and do something completely different. Great. So most all of us are here, and that's great. So today, you know, if you're a part of Inner Circle, every single month I do one of the 3 M's. I do marketing, mindset, or momentum. Right? Sometimes we talk about how do you take your strategies and go faster. A lot of times I talk about mindset, right? If we don't have the right mindset, we don't do anything. We come across our first obstacle, the first inner self-doubt, the first time we feel like an imposter, first time a friend, a relative, a husband, a wife says, ew, you're really going to do that? You're like, oh, right, I shouldn't. And then we go back to who we were, and if we were happy with where we were, we wouldn't be here today, right? So I want to talk about mindset all the time, and I also want to talk about marketing, because if you have the right mindset and you jump in the business, if you don't have marketing, then you got nothing to fuel. So yesterday, I had a training with our Project Next people. Was anybody on that training yesterday? Awesome. And I wanted to elaborate more on that when it comes to marketing, and it comes to taking the mystique out of marketing. And how do you make marketing easy? How does marketing become something that's as easy to talk about as your favorite book, your favorite movie, or talking to a friend? How do you have compelling words come out of your mouth that you enjoy saying that simultaneously get people to go, oh crap, I want what you're selling? And I was trying to think, how do I simplify that? So I figured we'd have a fun conversation around 5 different bullets today that you've heard of. You've probably learned in some of my training, or learned here, or learned in KBB, or learned in Project Next, or learned by being a part of mastermind.com. But I want to frame it in a little bit different way today. And it's kind of an extension of my training yesterday, because we had more comments yesterday on this simple training that I did, kind of this same relaxed way. I want to tell you what's cool about this group, and I know some of you are new, but this is 5 years. I've never missed a month in 5 years. And it's like family. So when I come here, it's not like I'm on and I want to deliver and I think about this, I overthink what I'm going to share with you. But it's really cool and really relaxing to be able to share with you guys. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate all the great comments. And it does feel like family. It is a true family. And remember, what's great about Inner Circle is sometimes we just need the ongoing, right? We need the repetition. Right? We can learn it, we can immerse, but if we get disconnected, we fall back. We start becoming this silent minority going, that's for other people. The world's moving too fast. I don't have the money. I don't have the smarts. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't understand the technology. My family thinks I'm nuts. I should just settle. I should be happy. What I have is pretty damn good. Why do I want more? Why am I always searching for another thing? All those crappy stories slowly come back in, and you don't even realize that you just faded away from a group. It's time to stay uncomfortable. It's time to move forward. Listen, the world has shifted. How many times are we going to say that? But here's something I want to share with you before we get started today. Do you guys remember pre-9/11? I mean, that was an absolute horrific event. But who remembers pre-9/11? Then all of a sudden 9/11 came, right? And you went to airports and it was completely different, right? And it seemed like it was temporary. but it's really not. It's kind of still the same things when you're at the airport, still taking off your shoes and those things. And a lot of things changed after 9/11, but now they're the new norm. And anybody under 30 doesn't even realize there was a different world before it, right? I kind of believe the same thing's going on with COVID. I don't think we see it, but there's a new norm that's here. And those of us that before, like my son, my youngest, was born during COVID. My other kids were 11 and 13. Like, it is going to be a part of their lives. But to the rest of us, there are certain shifts that have happened that I don't think are ever going to go back. Right now, they're talking about the Delta variant, and maybe it's time to put masks back on. Whatever your beliefs are. You like masks, don't like masks, that doesn't matter. It's still shifting our outside world, right? And all of these little shifts, I want to tell you, and the reason I'm sharing this is when us staying connected, those little shifts in the outside world, we don't realize if we pay too much attention to it and we're not connected to something bigger. I always use the word cumulative, right? Sophie, if you've been following me, I love that word cumulative. Outside influences, Terry, I love seeing you. Good to see you here, Terry, and Peggy, and Leo, and Andrew, and Michelle, and everybody here. Those outside influences of, oh my God, there's a Delta variant. Oh my God, you got to wear a mask. Oh my God, I got the vaccine and I have to wear a mask and I shouldn't go to this. All of those little pieces are cumulative. And what it does, I believe, it subtly dings your confidence without you realizing it. And you hesitate just a little. And then your brain starts looking for evidence why it won't work. Oh my God, the economy. Oh, they're going to shut down again. Oh, my friend was right. And the confidence goes down. We start looking for evidence of why it won't work without even realizing it. And then all of a sudden we start feeling like an imposter. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, it's an inner circle this month. I'm not even going to go to that. Why? It's a crazy time. I should be happy with where I'm at. Bullshit. Sorry. I want to shake you today. These are the times we have to step up. This is the time we have to be our own leader. And when I say a leader, I don't mean commanding over others, but shouldn't we be leaders if we want to impact our church, our children, our friends, our families, the ones we love, influence the world when it comes to race and all the other things going on? The only way we can make a difference is we become our own version of our own leader. And again, I don't mean a leader as controlling. I mean a leader as being the man or the woman God designed us to be. And I think if we end our lives not feeling we tapped into who we were supposed to be, I think it'll be the biggest regret of our lives. And listen, all of us have different levels of who we're supposed to be. I just say that for my kids. I want my kids to be abundant, happy, fulfilled, explore life. I don't care if they'll be happy with, minimal money, but they're fulfilled and have passion and desire, or they want to go off and be billionaires. I'm going to support whatever they want, but I want to support them tapping into who they're meant to be, not who the world thinks they should be. And when I come on every single month and we get to be a part of this family, this is how I approach each month. Some days it's let's talk about this marketing strategy. Some days it's like, let's get out of our head and shut that belief. And if we're going to change the world and make this a better place, it starts with people like us. There is no politician. I say this all the time. There is no politician. People are so obsessed with politicians, and if it's the left, the right, liberal, conservative, down the middle, no one's coming to save us. It doesn't matter if they're left, right, conservative, Democrat. Has anybody ever come, any president with all their promises, any Congress, waved a magic wand and all of our lives were perfect? Has it ever happened in the history of time? So why are we so obsessed with that when we need to take ownership? And here's what I know. When I know if I fail, it's on me, and I know if I succeed, it's on me, it is so liberating. I don't have to count on anybody. And if it doesn't work out, I get to beat me up. Right, Connie? You don't have to worry about and blame someone else. It's all on me, because the world is always changing out there. But who are we in here? So if you wonder why this inner circle, I get so passionate, I'm here, it's because you guys are family, and we do want more. And some of you are going through some really tough times right now. Some of you are concerned. Some of you the last 18 months kicked your ass, and you're trying to come out of a funk. You're trying to find your purpose. You're trying not to procrastinate. All I know is each month, I want to be here with you to spark something, to just initiate something, to go, listen, I don't come on every month and share some magical money machine that you can listen on a Thursday and be rich on a Friday. This is not the place for that. But has that ever worked out in the history of the world? Has anybody ever bought a product or hit a button on a keyboard and then all of a sudden your mailbox filled up with checks? I don't know. I never have. I'm still looking, right? All I know is when you get involved in an industry that's exponentially growing, when you learn from people who've already been there, when you keep your mindset sharp, when you stay a part of community like this to realize you're not crazy, you're not different. Yes, you are different. I should say you're not crazy, you are different. You're not settling for what other people settle for. Maybe you're not settling for what your spouse or your parents or friends have settled for, and that's okay. You know, I always say this. I love Trent Shelton. Remember Trent? If you guys have seen Trent, rock my world. I love that man. He said something right here one day. He said, would you guys stop trying to get other people to buy in on your dreams? God gave it to you, not them. Man, when he said that, I was like, amen, boom. Like, so many times we're trying to get our friends, our family, our husbands, or somebody to see what we're doing. They think we're nuts. That's okay, because God gave it to us. He didn't give that vision, that dream, that bigger purpose, didn't give it to them. I don't know about you. Who's uncomfortable? I already know the answer, but who's uncomfortable with staying the person you are today? I know I am. I want to grow. I want to be a better version. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better leader to my team or partner. I want to be a better trainer to you. I don't want to be the same guy. You know what I love? I love watching a training video I did just a year ago, and I'm embarrassed. I love that. I'm like, oh my God, what were you thinking? Why would you say it that way? I love looking at something where I'm like, I can't even read the first page of my first book. Totally Fulfilled was my first book. I wrote, I don't know, well over a decade ago. I can't even read 2 pages. I'm like, oh my God, you were so naive. That's the blessing of life, right? And if we're not climbing, we're sliding. We're not growing, we're dying. So I didn't plan on going on that long riff today. But you guys, so many of you have been with me for so long. And it's such an honor to serve you. And I want you to know that being a part of this community is bigger than just, am I going to get this secret tactic this week? I hope I share some killer stuff with you every month. But it's about being a part of something bigger. It's about not giving up. It's about growing. It's about realizing, and this is Tony's line, we all overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 5 or 10. Right? We all, when we're in the midst of things going sideways, it seems like it goes on forever. But when we look back in 5 years, you realize that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, designed that for us so you can be stronger, better, quicker, and learn what not to do, and learn what works. Wherever you are, if you're in your summer, spring, winter, fall of your life, this is just part of the journey, and it's an honor and a privilege to have you guys here. So, with that said, going into the World Summit, I'm so stoked for the World Summit. I know so many of you already are going. I know so many of you have tickets and you confirmed it. I just want to tell you, if you haven't got your ticket yet, write this down for later. Don't you dare go anywhere now. It's MM World Summit. MM, like mastermind, worldsummit.com. We are about 98% sold out. Like, we have literally a handful of tickets left. So if you didn't get your ticket, I set this crazy number and we hit it. I'm so stoked. We have literally a handful of tickets left. So mmworldsummit.com. Just check it out later. Don't go anywhere now because we're training here. But I'd love for you to have join us on August 13th through the 15th, 3 days of deep immersion. So today I was thinking about going deeper on what I trained yesterday. Most of you didn't see that, but it doesn't matter because we're here today. I want you to think about when it comes to marketing and how we can simplify this messaging in our heads, right? I made up a story yesterday, but I want to go through 5 things that will take your life experience and turn it into your greatest marketing assets, okay? Life experience, turning it into your greatest marketing assets. And number 1, I put a season, a slice, or a scene from your life that gives you the credentials to teach it, share it, or sell it. I'll say that again. A season, a slice, or a scene from your life that gives you the credentials, the confidence to teach it, share it, or sell it. Now, yesterday I made up a story. I did it all in 15 minutes on purpose about my relationship with my wife. It's an amazing relationship. I was not in the best relationship. I'm in the greatest relationship in the world, and I just shared a story of my life. But I want to think through that. And I'm going to pick on some of you today, if you don't mind. And I want to hear a scene, a slice, a season of your life that gives you the confidence, the capabilities to share. Now, when it comes to the knowledge industry, the information industry, the self-education industry, I believe no matter what you do, if you have another business, attaching a knowledge product, an information product to anything you currently do can give you exponential growth. Or all on its own, just creating a product. Knowledge is the new currency. You guys, this is not just my term, you guys see this happening. It's heading towards $1 billion a day industry. COVID, when I said the world has shifted to this, being online, shopping online, learning online, not going back to college, learning from people who've had experience. So yesterday I told a story. It was a scene, a slice of my life of my parents' divorces, and I went through a divorce, and I realized if I wanted to attract the most amazing woman in my life, I had to be the most amazing man, right? I thought to myself, if I just go to the next person, next relationship, and bring my bad habits and bring my same shit, I'm just gonna end up in the same place. So I found these fundamental 6 things, and it's true, and then I became the man that attracted my wife, and she's my dearest friend, and I love her to death, and we fall more in love every day. So I went through that process. It was just a scene in my life, and then I said at the end, who would like to buy a weekend? And everybody wanted to buy the course. I didn't have the course, but I wanna share this, and I'm just gonna rant here on another thing, but I want you to start looking at a season, a story, or a slice in your life, right? I've said this before. When I did go through a divorce, I ended up getting coaches, and I did this with you guys, so I'm just priming the pump here because I really want to make this about you today. But when I went through divorce, I went back to all my fear of my parents divorcing. It was ugly, and they hated each other, and the fighting, and it was just, right? We all have our own stuff. But I felt like I was going to bring that to my kids, and it was like driving me nuts. It was giving me anxiety and all this crazy stuff, right? But then I got a coach, a divorce coach, someone that did child-centered divorce. I read books on it. I interviewed people that went through divorce. I asked everybody that I saw do it elegantly. And I came up with 4 different things that would make it so my kids wouldn't experience what I did. And when I came up with the 4 alone, I'm just going to share the story. You guys are like family. So sorry if you've heard this story. If you haven't, this is family. I'm sharing. For the first time in my life, 5 years ago, going through 6 years ago, whenever it was, I went through a divorce. I had anxiety really bad. I couldn't shake it. And I just kept thinking my kids were going to experience what I did. And I'd go to bed at night, and like I was popping a Xanax a couple days a week. And I don't even take Tylenol, right? So when I went through the process, when I came up with these 4 strategies alone, the anxiety disappeared. And I realized that, number 1, I had to become real friends with my ex. Not fake friends, not just co-parent, be an active listener. Doesn't matter what happened, doesn't matter some of the things that went on. If my kids deserve a child-centered divorce, I had to find a way to forgive, forget, and be friends with my ex. Number 2, I had to bring someone in my life that would appreciate my kids like their own and just respect that, or else I would have been alone forever. I had to find boundaries and guidelines that we raised our kids the same way in separate houses, right? And we came up with the values we wanted to instill, not just the rules, but who do we want our children to be at the core when no one's watching, right? And then the third thing is, how do we emulate and replicate things in 2 different houses that feel comfortable for kids, especially they were at a really, 8 and 10 or 9 and 11 they were, right? So I came up with these 4 things. My anxiety went away, and I started to implement. And sometimes, my ex and I weren't on track, and then I met, after my divorce, I met my current wife, Lisa, and bringing all those pieces. But when I stuck to those core principles, I watched my kids be stronger than they ever were. I watched them get to experience real love with my current wife, where we hold hands and we respect each other. And I watched them watch their mom just expand and become the better version of herself. And I watched them how there was no contention. The reason I'm sharing this story is because that was a horrible mess in my life. It was a scene. It was a slice of my life. But there's an absolute fact. My kids are thriving now at going to be 13 and 15. They do not feel any weirdness when they go back and forth to different houses. They love the fact that their dad has real love. They love the fact that their mom is growing and doing things on her own. They love the whole experience. I am not a therapist. I've never counseled anybody on a child-centered divorce. I don't have any experience. I've never done any of it. But if you were going through a divorce, you need to know what I know. And in 2 minutes, I can take that story, some of it painful, some of it breakthrough, some of it where I was so scared and having a glass of wine at night just so I could calm my head down. I don't even drink coffee, just being honest. I don't take Tylenol. I don't even drink coffee because I don't want to be reliant in the morning to say, I don't feel good until I buy caffeine. So I refuse to drink coffee because I don't want to be reliant on anything. And I was finding myself wanting to pop a Xanax or wanting to drink a glass of wine. And I knew I had to do something, right? But going through that pain, going through that journey, reading the books, getting a counselor, interviewing people, and then applying it and having a great outcome. Who feels at this moment, again, I'm telling you the same story I kind of told yesterday if you guys were here in a different way, but who feels that I'm qualified if you're going through a divorce that I could help you make your kids be secure and safe, right? Now, if you were going through divorce, those of you that aren't, no big deal. You might be going through divorce, don't have kids, or you never went through divorce, you're happily married. None of you should be listening to that. But if you were going through a divorce and you have children, if I didn't even do a full call to action, who would pay me $297 for a weekend Zoom workshop to teach you everything, those 4 fundamental pieces I used, right? Now, I got to ask you, did I make a big sales pitch? Are you offended that I told you that story? Are you offended that I would ask for $297 to share that experience, or $997 or $97? Do you think that even one thing that I learned through pain, through screwing up, through learning, do you think just one thing out of that could help your kids thrive in a way where other kids suffer? Right? Did I have to do a fancy sales presentation with a slide deck and say, yes or yes, and you need this, and today, for just this one simple price, and you can click the button below? Did I have to do any of that? Would you guys buy what I'm selling if you needed that? So the reason I'm sharing that with you guys is going into the World Summit especially, I want to take away the fear of selling, the resistance to selling, because here's the thing. What the World Summit's about, and whether you're going or not, I hope you go. You're crazy if you don't. But if you don't, it's okay. But what I don't want you guys just to be someone who wants to sell a course or sell a workshop or one coaching session. I want you guys to be in the digital product selling business. That's when life expands. That's when freedom happens. That's when real impact happens. That's when you get to influence the world and create success for your family. It's time to evolve to that next level, not dabble, not dream. It doesn't even matter if you haven't even started yet. You still know once you sell one, it's time to grow. The only way it grows is if you fall in love with marketing and sales. Can I say it in another way? Fall in love with service. I think someday I will create a course on a child-centered divorce. I don't have one. I want to do it. I might just give it away. Actually, I'm going to charge people, because if people don't pay, they don't pay attention, and I'll give all the money away. 100% of it, I'll give it away to kids in need or something like that. But if people don't pay, they'll be like, it's probably not that good. They pay $297, they'll go through the entire course. That's just unfortunate and true, right? Even though you guys don't pay a lot to be here, you show up because you paid. If I did this free every month, 1/3 of you would be on here. Isn't that freaking insane? It's a true story. It's a true story. So what my goal is today for this training, and I'm going to go through a couple other things, and I want to pick on some people, is I want to help take away all the fear of sales. I want you to learn that your life experience, being a storyteller, sharing your pain, being vulnerable, really is the foundation of sales without being a salesperson. And once you love selling, right? Once you love marketing, once you know how to use your life experiences to enhance it, let me ask you this, and this is not what I even planned on today, but I'm just going down this vibe. I'm going down this path. I hope it's cool. Hope you enjoy it. You guys having a fun time today? Leave me a thumbs up if you are. Okay. Think about this. When you have, and I've shared this, but not as deep as I'm going to right now. Think about who here has ever read a book or watched a movie that freaking just floored you and you loved it, right? Or ate at a restaurant that you loved, right? I know I've talked about this before, but did you ever eat at a restaurant that was so good and you can't wait to share it? And you're like, oh my God, you have to go to this restaurant. This was homemade. The veggies were fresh. They named the farm that the vegetables came from. And oh my God, they did this, and there was this sauce, and it was healthy, but it was delicious. You gotta go. It's like you're shaking people. Let me tell you, when you share about a restaurant, a book, or a movie, my God, you watched this movie and this guy was just amazing and this love scene was incredible and it filled your heart. You can't wait to tell your girlfriend or whatever it is, right? When you share that, are you the best version of yourself or the worst version? If you're sharing something you love, are you animated? Do you have a smile? Are your shoulders back? Are your eyes wide? Have you ever told anybody about your favorite restaurant that absolutely floored you? Did you go, yeah, you know, the food was kind of good. There was a farm upstate. I don't know, they kind of shipped it in. And then they serve it. And then the dip, so good. Like, you wouldn't do that, right? But sometimes when people get to sales, they get worried, and that's how they present something they love, right? You have to realize that when we're selling something that impacts people's lives, that truly can allow them to jump over to make sure their kids are okay, or their marriage is good, or they can sell better, eat better, love better, live better, right? If we know we can take them from where they are to where they want to be, find that same enthusiasm. And the shift is unbelievable, because you'll never sell again a day in your life. You'll serve. Listen, you guys know I'm not afraid to sell. But let me ask you something. Have any of you ever bought anything from me and you got it and go, oh my God, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen? Have you? Right? Do you see why I'm glad you're here today, or a part of Project Next or KBB, or come to the World Summit? Because at the end of the World Summit, people are going to be crying, cheering, lose their mind, and be on cloud 9 and buzzing for 10 weeks. I know that. So if I don't sell that ticket, I don't get to give people that experience. So when I say, go get your ticket, I'm not like, oh my God, yeah, you know, maybe you should get a ticket to the world. It's like, no, you're crazy. Go get your ticket if you don't have it, because I know it's like eating that food, reading that book, or watching that movie. I get to shift your life. Tony gets to shift your life. Our team, the guest speakers we have, right? So I want to share something. Think about this. I have one of my old classic favorite movies is It's a Wonderful Life. Anybody ever see It's a Wonderful Life around Christmas time? I know it's an old classic, and I've probably watched it 20 times in my life. I probably could mouth every word of it, and I just love that movie. So think about the difference. If I wanted to tell you, I'm talking about using a scene, right? Using a scene from your life, a slice of your life. Right? So let's just say today you said, sell, let's see, Veronica, or I'm going to sell Jay. Love your hair, Jay. My hair looks like that most mornings, man. I work hard to get my hair to look like that. But let me just tell you something. When it comes to selling, when you add in a personal story, if I was going to sell you to watch A Wonderful Life, I could say this. A Wonderful Life, it is a really solid movie. It is a movie about a guy that has a second chance. He didn't think his life was good. He said, I shouldn't even be here. And God gives him a chance to see what it would be like if he was never born. And it really hits the heart. It's emotional, probably make you cry, and you'll appreciate things. You'll have gratitude in a new way. You might go watch it. You might not. But what if I said to you, with a slice of my life in there, or a piece of my life, say, oh my, when it comes to A Wonderful Life, there's a million movies. They make better movies. They have more animation and stuff like that. But this movie, fundamentally for me, as a child, I didn't have a family. I didn't sit around the kitchen table and have that family unit. And this movie takes you on a journey of not only a family and what's the most important thing in your life, and connection and love and support, and kind of breaks that family up and shows you the other side. It gives this man the ability to see what really matters in life, and it helps me see what really matters in my life. I want to be a better dad because of this movie. I want to be blessed and grateful every day that I'm on this earth to fight another day, even if stuff goes sideways. Everything went wrong that you could imagine for this guy, and he still realized at the end of his life, he'd still rather be with his family with everything going wrong than anything else. And it made me realize through all the divorces and my family and parents had and what I went through, I'm still so blessed to be on this earth to fight another day. And this movie, more than any other movie in my entire life, reminds me of that. It's definitely a must-see on your list. Who wants to see it now? Right? All I did was insert a slice of my life. Did I do a fancy call to action? Did I have to be a strong salesperson? Or did I just tell you like I was going to tell you about the book, the movie, the restaurant, right? Now, listen, some of you who are already great at sales are like, all right, Dean, I know you're beating this up. But I just know even people that are good with sales sometimes get too repetitive. You forget to be a human. You forget to tell stories. You forget to anchor it to your own emotions. And then we turn kind of into robotic salespeople. Who gets the phone call? Wait, has anybody else been getting calls about a warranty on your car nonstop? Is it just me? Or are you getting those calls? I'm so like all day my phone buzzes. I don't need a warranty on my car. But if you listen to them for 3 seconds, they go into a robotic sales pitch. That is what makes sales suck. When people like that, or the cold call on anything, they go immediately into their pitch. There's no emotion. It's a transaction. Okay, write this down. Put it in the chat. Don't be a transactional salesperson. Be a relationship builder that's serving others. Be a relationship builder that's serving others, and you will never sell a day in your life, and you will outsell anybody else you know without even trying. Another question. I talked about a scene, a slice. But remember, your mess sometimes is actually the thing that could qualify you. And here's the part that I love from Jenna Kutcher. Sometimes we feel like we got to be way on the other side of our mess before we share it. I was broke. I'm not broke anymore. I'm out of debt too, but I'm not rich yet. Let me share once I'm rich. Jenna said it best. The world needs to see your messy middle. Stop waiting for it to be perfect. Take them on a journey through your messy middle with them. Right? So, who has a mess, a slice, a scene from your life that you would like to share that equals your product, that results into your product? You know, Terry, you're always playing full out. I'd love to, let's pick on Terry Wilson. And then we're going to pick on a bunch of people today. I see you, Joy. I see you, Christian. Andrew, what's up? Hey, Terry, how are you?
Hi. I'm great.
Doing good?
Thanks. Yeah.
I can't hear in here. If you could turn the speakers up, I hear in the office. All right, how about now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right.
So is this resonating with you today, Terry?
It is. And I've been trying to figure out exactly like what slice to start with, because there's just so many. And I've kind of been taking a little bit of time, not procrastinating, but to let this particular moment in the story of my life just kind of sink in and realize it, and not just let it go by, because it's a big one. Anyway, I guess one of my biggest experiences happened, I don't know, about 15 months ago, a year and a half ago. I have always been in the corporate world. This entrepreneurial world is completely new to me. I was a big resume builder, and I'm always very focused and dedicated on my work, and I've worked my way up the corporate ladder, no problem. Mostly as an analyst, because I'm an analyst by nature, and so that came very easy to me. One of my last jobs, actually both of my last jobs, they had me doing several positions under one salary, like completely different jobs. But because I'm somebody who, which I now understand energy and focus, I've always been one who put like all my focus in my job when I was at work. So I was able to kick ass and I was proud of myself. And then one day the company got sold, and new owner came in and started cutting heads, and they cut deeper and deeper, and they cut me. And other people left that day as well because they fired me, because I was the only mentor that they had. Our managers were no longer mentors. There were just butts in seats, and it just really irritated me. So I was not even upset. But I kind of felt like...
So Terry, before you go any further, before you go, I don't mean to cut you off. I want you to tell me, what is it you want to help people with? And then let's go right back to where your story is. What is your course, workshop, coaching? What are you going to help people with?
I have since understood how life works, and I really want to help people understand different things that happen to them and how life is actually meaning it, so that they can get perspective and move forward with that part of their life. I want to be able to coach them one-on-one. I'm a recluse, so I like one-on-one better.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Listen, when I'm talking to Terry, is this for everybody, guys? Right? So pay attention to this. I want to ask you something. I can tell you have so much to give the world. I can feel your energy, Terry. Every time you're on a Zoom, I see you. You end up in one of the rooms that I see, and it switches through. I can feel your energy, your smiles. I can tell you're playing full out. I can also tell that you don't play games. If you're going to do something, are you the type that does it? Like, you're doing this. There's zero question in my eyes. What about in yours? Right? You're in.
Oh, yeah, no, zero question.
Right, you're in. But let me ask you something. Do you want to serve men and women or just women?
Everybody.
Okay. What age?
It's more. It's more of a. I don't know how to put this nicely.
Emotional intelligence. What level of emotional intelligence they're on?
Of an elevated level.
Okay, so here's what I would say. This is for everybody. I want you to start narrowing it down, and I want you to start with a smaller demographic. If I was you, and I think you should serve everyone, I think you should start maybe with, do you want to talk to people that are in business or not business?
I prefer business people.
Okay. So,
in any business, I don't care.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. And then I'm going to go back to your story. I want you I know you want to serve everyone. I want you to think that you're only going after women who are in business, who are 35 to 50 years old. And I know you could serve people older and younger, but women in business, 35 to 50. Tell me what else. Do they feel unappreciated?
Yes.
Do they not know what their next best step is?
Yes.
Can they transform? Can they find the confidence to transcend to the woman they were supposed to be?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now I want you to go back and tell me a scene of your life that is specifically for a woman in business. Let's just say it's Stephanie. I'm going to pick you, Stephanie. It's Stephanie. You look 35. So we'll say Stephanie's 35 years old. She's been kicking ass in business. Everybody looks up to her. But when she goes home at night, she feels like, I should be happy with my life. But I'm not. I know I was meant for more, to do more, to be more. And there's something different. Everybody looks at me like I got everything going on and I'm making it happen, but I know internally it's time to go to a new place. I want you to tell a story to Stephanie, who's 35 or 38. She's a businesswoman and she knows there's another level but feels stuck and doesn't know what to do. Now go back and tell me a scene of your life that makes you qualified to help Stephanie.
Oh, there's so much. So first she has to
No. Just tell me a story. Don't tell me about her. Tell me about you. Tell me about an experience you went through. Has there ever been a time, Terry, with you that you came home and everybody gave you praise? You're running 2 different jobs. You mentoring people. They gave you a thank you. Someone bought you a coffee. Someone else bought you lunch. And you came home and said, I don't know if this is who I'm supposed to be. Or you do all that shit and you still get fired. What did it feel like the day you got fired after doing all that? I want you to think again, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Terry, but this is what I want you to think about. Could you imagine saying, I barely know you. I know you for 7 minutes now. But imagine if I was Terry. I don't look as good as she does, but imagine if I was Terry and I'm here and I said, listen, I know what it's like to be 38 years old and feel like you're at the top of your game. Your friends, your family think you're doing really well in life. They think you got your stuff all together. At work, you're handling 2 jobs. You handle your home life. You keep track of everything. And then all of a sudden, imagine that, and you think you got your plan and path. And whether you have to go through what I went through, where I came to work one day, and because of a sellout, my job was gone. All this life, all this time, all this focus, all this dedication, in a moment was gone with no pat on the back, just here's your stuff and go. The moment I left there, I knew what it felt like to say, I'm not in control of my life. I'm not in control of my emotions. My focus has been for someone else. But what I did is I went on a journey. And during that journey, I self-discovered me. I found out who I was supposed to be, who I could be. Is that true?
Yes.
Did you go on a journey of self-discovery?
I did.
Did you do something to find that beautiful smile that you always have from ear to ear? Right?
I absolutely did.
Okay, so tell the story to the 38-year-old Stephanie who's feeling like you felt either the week before or the week after you were fired or the month before or the month after. Tell the story of that journey. Tell the pain of what it felt like to get fired after doing 2 jobs and mentoring people, and you thought it was the worst moment of your life. And I would bet to say you would agree it's probably the best moment of your life. Is that a true story?
Oh, it absolutely was.
Okay, so we want to hear that story, not the sales presentation. Do you see this smile this woman has? Who would like to have that smile after being fired from a job that you kicked ass, focused your life on it, did 2 people's jobs, had people you mentor, you still get fired? It's the happiest woman on the screen. Who wants some of that? Raise your hand if you want some of that. Does she have to sell you? Does she have to have a fancy sales presentation? Or does she just need to really dig in deep? Like, be vulnerable. Listen, here's the thing. I could see by your eyes squint and you smile so big, right? But I would bet to say driving home from getting fired, or there was a moment where you weren't in that same space yet.
Yeah.
You need to dig, because right now you're so on the other side, Terry.
I don't want to look backwards.
What's that?
I don't want to look backwards.
Yeah, but
open it up, man.
But as you tell the story, Terry, you have to put yourself back in those shoes of that day. Because remember this, guys, everybody, people make decisions to move away from pain or move towards pleasure. Terry, if you just share all the pleasure you're experiencing now, I love it and will feel amazing. But half your audience won't be able to resonate with you because they're in so much pain. They're like, I could never be where Terry is. She's on fire. Look at her. She's glowing. That's not me. I'm really screwed up. Right? So you have to go back into your journey of sharing that pain, to be vulnerable of what that felt like and how it felt to be on the other side, because then you've covered the whole spectrum. You're covering someone who's in pain. Listen, when you're in pain, can we all agree, when you feel depressed, I've never really had depression, but I've had anxiety, like I shared earlier. When you're depressed or you feel anxiety, or maybe you call it sadness, isn't it crazy how your brain plays tricks on you that you think you're going to feel that way forever? Isn't that the most screwed up thing in the world? When I had anxiety about leaving my kids and not being there every single morning, I cooked my kids breakfast every single day. I have since they were born. I bring them to school every single day. I pick them up from school every single day. I'm a little obsessive. I'm not trying, that's just one of my top priorities, right? The thought of not being able to do that half of the week, it put me in this tailspin of anxiety. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I made it to 40-something years old. Maybe I worked too hard, I snapped. I'm screwed, like I'm done. I'm anxious, I don't want to get in small spaces. When I was feeling, I didn't want to get in elevators. And I know my brain was telling me things like, hey dude, you're gonna feel this way forever, you're screwed. Like literally thinking that I would be in this state forever. And I've talked to so many people who went through depression. Anybody ever go through a depression and your brain tells you this is the way it's gonna be forever? It's bullshit. It's a temporary situation until you get the capabilities to climb out. Sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes years, but it's not permanent, but we feel that way, right? So you need to talk to the person, the woman, the Stephanie at 38 years old that feels like her circumstance that she's in is a life sentence. If you don't reach her, then she's going to feel like Terry would never understand because she's happy and joyful now. She doesn't understand what I'm going through. I have to support my kids, or my boss relies on me, or I bought this new house and the payment is $3,000 a month. There's nothing I can do. I got to stay in it. You have to remind, like when I come on here and talk to you guys on a monthly basis, listen, my life's in a different place. I feel blessed. I have multiple companies. I'm doing well. If I came here and be like, oh, I'm just deciding if I should sell my house and buy a new one, and should I put my kids in private school? Like that's not I relate to this family because I never forget what it's like to be broke. I never forget what it's like when I first started. I never forget what it's like when I had my first sale. I don't forget what it was like when I was depressed, when I had anxiety. I don't want to forget those conversations that went in here that said, you're crazy, you're a loser, you'll never make it, you're not smart, you have dyslexia, your friends have money, you don't, your parents are chaotic and your family's a mess. I don't ever want to forget those emotions. I don't live there, but I don't forget them. And let me ask you something. When I'm vulnerable and tell you that I screwed up in a marriage, or that I went through a divorce, or I worried about my kids, or I took freaking Xanax, or drank wine to feel good, doesn't it make you feel more normal? I'm not doing it as a ploy. I'm just being vulnerable and honest. I don't want to go, yeah, you know, I went through a divorce. I handled it with pure elegance. I decided today we're going to put the kids first, and we made it happen. Bullshit. I had sleepless nights and a stomach that I had to take Pepto-Bismol because I thought I was getting an ulcer. Like, it's part of the journey. And when people can relate to you and go, Sam or Kathleen or Sophia, you went through that shit and you're on the other side. Damn, Terry, how did you get that smile after being stuck in a job? Because I'm in the job. I'm in the stuck place, right? So I don't mean to go so long with this with Terry, but tell me in the chat, does this reflect all of you and all of our journey? No matter what business you're in. And I don't care if you're not in the knowledge industry, if you have a brick and mortar business or your own job, all of these things relate. They're all intertwined. Because listen, and that's day 3 of the World Summit. Sales and persuasion. If you're persuading someone to take drugs, if you're persuading someone to drink when they shouldn't, if you're persuading someone to smoke cigarettes and it can cause cancer, that's pretty shitty. But when you can persuade, Terry, when you can persuade a woman that's going through a mess in her life and she doesn't even realize it, she feels stuck, she feels there's no hope, she feels like no one understands her at a deep level. If you can persuade her to be coached by you, and you can unleash who she's supposed to be, and you can put the smile that you have on your face on hers, then I'm going to teach you to be the most persuasive human on the planet, because you get someone to say yes and you get to change their life. And when you feel that way, again, you'll never sell a day in your life.
And I think that's the uncomfortable action that I'm probably afraid of. It's not the moving forward. It's not the doing it. It's the, I really don't want to look backwards. So thank you for that, Dean, because I'm going to get emotional now.
Yeah, no, but it's okay, but here's the thing. When you can I promise you something? When you can look back on it and know it sucked, but know it was the reason that you're here today, I promise you it's your next level. I know you're kicking ass and I see that smile, but you need to unlock that box. You need to let that go. What I feel just from 2 minutes is you found a really good way to tuck some of that aside and focus on who you want to be. You need to go back and open that box up and let it out and be able to look at it and go, yep, that sucked. That was shitty. But look at the woman I am today because of that shitty circumstance. And here's the best part to all of you. Do you know how many people, think about the group we have. Do you know how many humans on this earth are going to be positively impacted by what we get to do? How many women is Terry alone going to help? And then when Terry helps someone, is she a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a better daughter? I mean, think about this group with us together. We're going to get to impact potentially millions of people around the world if we decide not to give up. So know that though it might not be easy to dig into those tough times, Terry, I believe it's your next level. I honestly believe it's the breakthrough that you needed for business, but in other areas of your life, because there's a lot of painful areas in my journey, and still to this day, there's things that happen. And when you get a certain amount of, be prepared that when you get a certain amount of success, that some people just hate you no matter what, just because you're successful, just because you went after it. All those things happen as you go. And the older I get, the more I realize, thank God, thank you for putting that in my life. It made me have more empathy. It made me better at compassion. It made me want to step up what I created, right? I want to make what I create unassailable. I want someone to say, well, I paid $1,000, ooh, this is worth about 5,000. Like I think about that with everything. I want someone to go to you and go, wow, I got to pay her $500 for this session or whatever the number is. And they get done and go, it's worth twice that. I'm free. Right. My heart's free. My soul is free, and I'm immersing. I'm growing to who I'm supposed to be. So I hope that helped, Terry.
It did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can we all give it up for Terry? So, guys, as we go in this journey, right? That was, I got to speak to Terry, but who else got some positive stuff out of me speaking with Terry, right? And these are the things I want to share with you. Again, the majority of you here are in this industry, on your way in this industry. Some of you are absolutely slaying it. But remember, as you stay immersed, as you stay in this, as you're in the weekly trainings, going through the course, coming to the World Summit, being a part of the inner circle, if you stay in it, each time I use the word cumulative, there's something today that can accumulate to give you the breakthrough you're looking for that hasn't quite happened yet, right? Some of it might be tactical. Some of it might be, shit, I do have to face that really horrible time in my life. Now, some of it could be, oh, wow, that is a marketing strategy, or, wow, I didn't look at it that way. Just know that just like doubting yourself, watching the news, questioning yourself, lowering your confidence, searching for why it won't work, feeling like an imposter is cumulative. The other side of the spectrum, this is cumulative. Going back through and listening to personal development, going through module 1 or going back to in the inner circle and watching previous trainings on mindset. And cumulatively, you start going, oh, wow, that is an old story. That's one I got from my mom. I'm getting rid of that one. Oh, my God, that is a bad belief. I got to get rid of that belief. Oh, my God, my focus. I can't believe I'm focusing on what's wrong rather than what's right. Oh, my God, I actually am good at this. I did go through that experience. I did lose myself, and now I found myself. That is my dot. That's what I can teach. Oh, my God, marketing is about telling a story. Holy shit, I can tell stories. I love people to do this. All of a sudden, I just want you to know the only way this doesn't work is when you don't work it. When you go, I don't think that's for me. And then when you don't think it's for you, I get that. But what ends up happening? In 3 or 4 months, you're still not happy with where you are because you know you're meant to grow. You're online looking for the next thing. And what is the next thing? Try to buy the next coin that comes out and get Dogecoin? I don't know. Or try to figure, or maybe I get an Amazon store, or maybe like, there's no magical money machines. So the reason I share with you, pick something, burn the boats, go all in, gain the capabilities, know you're going to question yourself, know you're going to lose confidence, know you're going to feel like an imposter. And that's all part of the journey. To me, that's all the roadblocks where like the success auditor, God, whatever you believe is going, 2 more obstacles for Andrew. He's not quite there yet. Oh, his family thinks he's nuts for trying to do it, and he's still positive. Good job. What's next? Oh, he put some marketing up and not one person clicked. They didn't like his video. Cool. Let that be his next 3 videos. And then all of a sudden you do your 4th video, your 7th video, and shit, 200 people saw it. It's like, it's time to let Andrew go. He put his work in. Like, I believe we have to go through the shit. There's no easy road. Listen, if you've ever been, you don't have to raise your hand. If you've ever been in an amazing relationship, friendship, partnership, or love relationship, did it just happen because you didn't do anything, or did you work on it? You paid attention. You listened. You did the right things. That's why it got amazing. Have you ever been in amazing shape? Did you show up at the gym and just sit on your phone and look at Snapchat? And then you left the gym and you were ripped? No, you had to freaking do the squats and the sit-ups. You had to work your ass off, right? It's like none of it happens without the work. But the byproduct of going to the gym on a regular basis is what? You look good. The byproduct of putting your phone down and listening to your spouse and go, how was your day, babe? And you listen and you pay attention. And when your wife wants to tell you a problem and you know you can solve it in 3 seconds, and I listen to the whole story anyway, that's the stuff that makes the difference, right? That's the stuff that makes the difference. Staying engaged, learning the parts that you are missing. You might have your dot figured out and this figured out, but you need to crack your story. You need to crack marketing. You need to finally get your site up on mastermind.com. You need to really tell your friends and family you're doing this. I don't know what it is, but this is cumulative as well. So the more this builds, the more you chip away at the barriers, the more you get momentum. And once you see a sign of light, once you get momentum, build on that momentum. And don't let the naysayers, don't let the inner self doubt, don't let all the things that have stopped you in the past. There's already a story or a belief that cost you too much in the past. It already made you miss other opportunities. Don't let it miss this. And listen, I'm here. I hope you go into the knowledge industry. But whatever you do, all the principles we talk about each month are for success in all areas of life. Here's a little secret. It's all the same. If you want to be healthy in your soul, healthy with your body, you want to have a healthy relationship, want to have a healthy business, make great money, impact others, the fundamentals are all the same. Guys, I appreciate you so much for being here month after month, for being a part of the Inner Circle. You guys kick ass. I look forward to this every single month. I hope you guys do too. I know we had some guests come today. Thank you for joining us. This is an amazing family. For those of you coming to the World Summit, we are going to kick some butt. It's going to be amazing. It's August 13th, which is like 2.5 weeks, I don't know, 2 weeks away. Oh my God, I got a lot of preparation to do. It is going to be incredible. For those of you who haven't got a ticket, go check it out, mmworldsummit.com. Would love for you to join us, and we'll see you next month. I appreciate you guys so much. See you soon.